Okay, you guys really like Ousmane. I know this now.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
So I've been told to do Ousmane Dieng, and I hope I'm saying that right. Okay, if I'm saying it wrong, please just correct me in the comments. But people have told me to do a video on him for quite some time, ever since I started talking about prospects and looking more into who these guys are coming out of the draft. And I have to say, I have a lot of mixed feelings. He's a very strange case, okay? But we're gonna get into that in 1 second. Now, before we do, really quickly, if you guys want to support the channel, become a Patreon member, only $2 per month, link in the description for that. Or if you want to just do something a little simpler, become a YouTube member, you just go over to my YouTube channel and you hit this little join button. Okay, let's talk about Ousmane. So first and foremost, as I always do, we got to talk about statistics. So there's this saying, it's a famous saying that you're only as good as your last performance. So we're gonna go ahead and look into this season alone when he was in the NBL, and I have to say, starting off, not impressive whatsoever. Even if you watch videos of him, it was god awful. Okay, it was really terrible. There's some really great things to his game, but there's a couple glaring issues with them that we do have to discuss, but we'll do that in 1 second. But starting off, as you can see, the first 11 games were god awful for him. He just looked terrible. I was reading up that his draft stock tanked around that time, but as you can see, the last 12 games he picked up and he was himself again. So if you're wondering what type of player he is, he's more of a I always say this, but Swiss Army knife. Okay, he can do quite a bit of everything. He can assist fairly well, he can create his own shot, very high IQ, very high defensive IQ. I mean, he is really good at moving his feet. Overall, really good game. Now, there are a few glaring issues, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about this positive right here, because even though he started off only, look, he started off playing like trash. Okay, he started off playing like trash, but that was half of the season. But the second half of the season, he picked up and he was incredible, like really, really good. And that just kind of speaks to his ability to adapt. He is really good at kind of adjusting to his environment and just getting better. And as you can see here, this is something that he actually has talked about. He's talked about trying to play a little bit tougher, and he's very aware of things that he needs to work on with his game. So if we read here, he's 6'10", if you need to know that, 18 years old, very young. And he said, playing in a tough league with really good players was really good for me. I learned a lot. The transition was significant. Going up against much better players than I saw in France, the game is faster. Everyone is more physical. Keep this in mind, okay? The back of your head, keep that word in mind. It's physical, okay? I had to work on my body, and I was lucky to have a great strength and conditioning coach. I love it when young guys give credit to other people. I love it. I improved my defense a lot this past year. As I said, his defense is pretty good. The coaches had a big role in my improvement. I trusted them when I was struggling. I kept working and improved my game. He is so good at adjustment. And I know that this doesn't really seem like a big deal, but this is kind of unheard of, man, to go into a league, a much tougher league at that, and play this awful and then transition into the second half of the season and play so much better. And when I say you're only as good as your last performance, I mean this performance right here. This is crazy good. Now, his team got a lot of L's, as you can see, but right here, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And if you go watch this game, or even if you go see the highlights of the game, he was very good in this game. He looked like a top pick. Now, the first half of the season, he looked like he was undrafted. In the second half, he looked like a dang near lottery pick. So I really do like the fact that he's very good at adjusting, and yeah, he can just adjust on the fly. Very smooth on the court as well, I must say. So he can kind of find the open man. He can create his own shot. He has a really smooth shot. The only thing about his shot that's kind of off is he doesn't really square his feet with the basket, and I think that might probably hurt him later on. If I'm being honest, I just feel like that's going to hurt him. But overall, I like him as a player. Now, as I said, we got to talk about this physicality, and I do have a clip here that I want to show you. But before I show you that, that's kind of a glaring issue for him, if I'm being completely honest. He gets away from physical contact a lot. Like, as far as what I've seen, and it might just be due to his age, it might be due to his body size, but it just seems kind of like a lack of confidence. Defensively, he plays more with his hands. He uses it, like I said, he can really move his feet pretty well, but he just does not like contact. And what really shows that is his rebounding, because as you said, or as I said, and you heard me say this, he's good at everything, but I did not mention his rebounding. He is not a good rebounder at all. Now he had this one game in which he got 9 rebounds, but overall, trust me, he is not a good rebounder. He goes away from contact all the time. Now what saved him, like I said, was that second half of the season, but man, that physicality, that confidence, it's apparent. Now I wanted to show you this because I found this very interesting, and you guys know me, I sometimes I overthink things, but I just want to show you what he had to say about who is his favorite players. And this was actually at the age of 16, I believe. Yeah, it was a couple years ago. But these are the players that he looked up to, which I found so strange.
Is there anyone you like to watch? NBA, EuroLeague, any players you like to study?
Kobe, KG, and I watch NBA.
Did you?
Kobe and KG. I was trying to figure this out. This is me overthinking. And I was like, how the heck, Kobe and KG? How the heck is your game anything like Kobe and KG? I don't see it at all. Maybe a little bit of KG, not really. And I was thinking, well, I mean, intensity wise, he's not necessarily there. Defensive wise, yeah, he's there. Mentality wise, he's not super confident. That is just a weird group of guys. And I realized he's 18, and I don't know what I was thinking, but look, it might be just as simple as this. Kobe and Kevin Garnett, that's very specific, but at the same time, those two were basically running the league around 2010, 2009, and at that point, he would have been a little kid. So it makes sense that he looked up to those two. I don't think that was something specific, because I really was expecting him to pick out a player that's a little more versatile like him. Not to say those guys weren't versatile. Okay, Kobe was a beast, but I just didn't see any Kobe in his game, nor KG really. So that kind of confused me a little bit. But yeah, that's just me looking into it. It just came down to really what it was is he just probably watched him. And I want to show you this clip as well, because I just think that this really shows how good he is with the ball in his hands. Now, I don't believe this is the NBL. Yeah, this is not the NBL. But as you can see here, he's very, very smooth. Good around the screen. Very crafty. Really, really good at getting to the basket. Originally a guard. I'm assuming that when he gets to the NBA, he will be more so a small forward. But we'll just have to wait and see. So where does he land? Now, this is what I found super interesting, okay? So if you go to Tankathon is pretty reliable. But Tankathon has him all the way down to 34, which is nuts to me. Like that's insane. But if you go and you look at just an article that came out just a couple weeks ago, or was it a week ago? Yeah, a couple weeks ago, you can see here that they're actually expecting him to be possibly a lottery pick. So I have no idea where this kid is going to land. Like I said, there's so many things to his game where I could see him going. It's going to go either one or two ways with him. Okay. He's either going to be a guy that is in the NBA for a long time, but he never was just a star, maybe kind of underwhelming, but at the same time, you can use him on any team because he can do so many different things. I think that he's going to have a career in the NBA, period. Okay. I don't see him like being a flop necessarily, but at the same time, the other end of it is he could potentially be a star because he has so many things in his arsenal. But I'll be honest with you guys, the lack of physicality and the lack of confidence that I see from him sometimes with his decision making is something to question. Now, if we're talking about the San Antonio Spurs and him coming to, San Antonio essentially, he will be playing with Josh Primo, who would be another, up and coming player. And I can see these two playing off each other very well because of the basketball IQ. I really do like him. Okay. I really do. But man, it is such a weird thing. It's like, it's either going to be 20th. We get him around 20th maybe. And that end up being too high. I don't know. It's going to be very strange. I'll tell you this right now. Don't take him at the 9th. If we end up 9th or top 4, do not take him. I think it's too many questions to his game. So whether or not he'll fall to us, I don't know. But it's up in the air, man. Some people saying lottery, some people saying mid to second round. I don't know. So let's go ahead and look at this. So here we go. So as I always do, let's look at the pros and cons of what NBA Scouting Live has to say. Let's see if I match up with any of this. Once again, okay? Once again, I have not seen any of this, okay? I just bring it up and then I go into it. I have my own thoughts and then I go into this. So let's go ahead and start reading. All right. So as they have him here, see, this is what I'm talking about. Mid first to second round. I have no idea where he's going to land. All right. So pros, decent score off the dribble. Yes. How they say this? No, this is the one they say with everybody. Excels at scoring on off-ball motion plays. They say that everybody. Adequate playmaker. Yes. Decent rebounder. I disagree. I mean, usually use decent as in, you know, it's not that great. But no, I don't even think he's a really good rebounder, especially for his height. Maybe if he could put some more size and he get a little more physical, sure. But there's been so many plays that I saw where he just kind of gives it up, right? I don't know. Adequate defender. Yeah, really good at moving his feet. Very good athlete. Yeah. Versus. Yeah, and I didn't mention that as well. He can get to the basket pretty well. From what I've seen, he, like I said, he gets away from contact quite a bit, but he is crafty enough. He does have a pretty nice little floater. Shout out to Tony Parker, another Frenchman, right? So he does have that to his guy. Oh, hey, here it is. Versatile player that can play multiple positions. Yeah, that's another thing. He might end up being a point forward. Like, he does remind me a little bit of Kyle Anderson, maybe a much faster Kyle Anderson who can create his own shot. Not to say Kyle Anderson can't, but I mean, Kyle Anderson is really a role player, and this guy could potentially be a star. But moving on, cons, needs to improve his shooting. Struggles to score in traffic. I see, that's what I was saying. I think that comes back to the physicality. I think he's pretty good at getting into the lanes, but like I said, it's mainly teardrops. I don't know. Can tend to be a ball stopper on offense. I don't know anything about this. I'm just gonna assume that's right. Not an elite rebounder. Well, dang, you called him a decent rebounder, and then you say he's not elite. No, he sucks at rebounding. I mean, I know that's probably pretty harsh, but no, he sucks at rebounding. Can be undisciplined defensively. Yeah, that goes down to him kind of using his hands, like I said, a little too often. Needs to improve his strength. Yeah, and that's fine. I'm not worried about the strength part. And another thing too, with this part where they said, what did they say about him being a shooter? Needs to improve his shooting. Yeah, about that, he's actually a decent shooter. But yeah, you can kind of see here where it's like, oh my goodness, dude, 14%. Like, oh my God, 12%. And that does happen. But at the same time, I think that is really just a technical thing. I think he does have a nice shot. It's just that his feet aren't necessarily square with the basket. And I won't just harp on that, but I think that's part of it. But moving on. All right. Ousmane Dieng, hope I said that right. Okay. Ousmane Dieng is a very athletic point forward that can score and pass the basketball. He showed promise during the NBL Blitz, but I love Blitz, by the way. That was a great game. But he really struggled early on in the NBL regular season. Yeah, we saw that. Before playing better later in the year, well, actually half the season, he played better. I wouldn't say later in the year. He will need to improve his jump shot and on-ball defense. I think his defense is pretty good. It's just the hand checking. But his size, athleticism, versatility, and upside could make him an intriguing candidate to go in the first round of the 2022 draft. Yeah, and that's where I'm at with him. Like I said, I really like his game. I like that he brings so many different things where I could legitimately see him becoming a star. But at the very least, this is the thing, and this is the kind of the key thing, right? At the very least, he won't be a bust. Now, he will only be a bust if he's like top 10, top 12 or something. But if the Spurs could get him at 20, if they can give him 25, he is not a bust. All right, he is not a bust. Whichever team gets him, I would say after 20, you got you at the very least a solid player that's going to be pretty versatile for you going down the stretch. And one thing I want to add, which I said this already, but his ability to adjust may make him jump into the lottery. Like, honestly, his ability to adjust to his game and get better, like just a short period of time, I could very well see him going in the combine and tearing it up. So we'll wait and see. But I just want to throw that out there just so you guys, talk about them, see what you think of them. But that's my assessment of them. So, you know, let me know what you think. We're going to be doing every single player. I'm going to try my best to do every single player. So that should be fun. Not really, but we're going to look into every single player and try to do the most in-depth analysis as possible. So I love you guys, man. If you want anything from me, all you have to do is go on over to Discord. Hold on. Make sure I'm not showing anybody's name. Yeah. Discord. Okay. So all you got to do is just go, link in the description, Discord group chat, join it, talk to me on there, talk to other Spurs fans on there. I think we got about 500 people, maybe. I want as many people in there as possible before draft. But anyways, I'll give it to you later. Until next time, deuces.